Hi, I'm Randy Sign, and today I want to show you how to get started crossing tomatoes. Crossing tomatoes is a three-step process. The first step is to emasculate the flower that is to receive the pollen. The second step is to collect the pollen. And the third step is to apply the pollen to the emasculated flower. This video is going to focus on the emasculation process. The emasculation process is a two-step process. The first thing you have to do is find a flower that's at the right stage. The right stage being just before it shows yellow and prior to opening to prevent accidental self-pollination. My buddy Blaine Horton has some videos that shows him emasculating a flower at the proper stage. The second part of the emasculation process is the removal of the anther cone. The anther cone is where the pollen is. To remove the anther cone, you have to know what one is. So the first thing we have to do is take a look at the tomato flower anatomy. Tomato flower anatomy. We're going to start off by taking a look at the male parts and the overall structure. We're going to begin with this green stem that comes from the cluster and leads up to the flower. That's called the pedicel. These green finger-like structures that protrude out from the base of the flower are called the sepals. I'll flip the flower over a little bit, and of course most people can recognize the petals. And those are the petals, and this cone-like structure in the middle is called an anther cone, and that is the male part. That's where the pollen is, and it's also called the staminate. And now we're going to take a look at the female parts of the tomato flower. And this is a flower that I've already emasculated earlier so that we can see, and marked, so we can see the female parts. Up here at the very tip is the stigma. You can see it's a slightly different color, and its brim around the style. The style is the tube-like structure that leads down to the ovary, and the ovary is where the fertilization occurs. Collectively, the stigma, style, and ovary are referred to as the pistillate. Okay, you're going to need some basic tools in order to facilitate emasculating a tomato flower. And they are tweezers, and I have a small pair and a large pair. I usually use the small pair. I have yet another smaller pair. I just don't have them out here right now. This is the pair that I use the most. I can use this for some big work when I remove the sepals or the petals with tweezers. Then I can bring in these larger ones on some flowers depending on the flower. These are embroidery scissors. I use them to snip the sepals and or the petals. And of course my magnifiers. Now my magnifiers, I use them in conjunction with my reading glasses. I'm farsighted, so I have to wear reading glasses. Okay, we're going to start off with emasculating a flower here. And the technique I use is I come up behind it at the base of the flower. I grab a hold of it firmly. Then I come down and I get the tweezers, grab a hold of the anther cone, and pull straight out. Now, as you saw there, when I pulled it out in this particular case, and it was an already open flower, you see that I pulled the petals and the anther cone itself out. This can happen at all stages, even when you're dealing with a very small flower, which you would be using when you're doing the real emasculation, not just practicing. And we noticed that I left behind the stigma is intact, the style's intact. And if we look down there, we can see that the ovary is still there and intact. And there you go, an emasculated flower.